In this video, we'll discuss 10 common mistakes that investors make in their Roth IRAs that can cost you up to $500,000 or more. Keep watching to find out if you're making these mistakes and what you can do today to avoid them. The first common Roth IRA mistake is not taking advantage of the full contribution limit every single year, also called maxing your Roth IRA. As far as retirement accounts go, the Roth IRA's limit is actually quite small, only $7,000 per year compared to the 401k's annual limit of $23,000, for example. And once that deadline passes, you can never go back and contribute to that year ever again. Hopefully your income grows as you get older, and over time it becomes easier to max your full Roth IRA every single year. But because of the power of compounding interest, the dollars that you invest when you are young are more impactful than the dollars that you invest when you are closer to retirement. Maxing the full Roth IRA amount every single year for 40 years will net you about $1.4 million in retirement, assuming an average rate of return of about 7%. But let's say that you only put in $2,000 per year for the first 20 years, and then spend the next 20 years maxing it out at the full $7,000. You'll only retire with roughly $600,000, less than half of what you would have had you maxed out your Roth IRA every single year. Roth IRAs, unlike a lot of other retirement accounts, are pretty unique in that you have 16 months to make a contribution to a given calendar year. So obviously you can contribute money anytime between January and December for a given year, but the IRS also allows you to retroactively contribute to that calendar year all the way up until April 15th of the following year, or tax day usually. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions to save more money for retirement, so they open up their first Roth IRA in January or February, and this is where a lot of people make their very first mistake. Regardless of which brokerage you use, if you're contributing money between the months of January and April, your brokerage will ask you which year you want the money to be contributed towards, the current or the previous year. The answer here should always be the previous year until it's either maxed or the deadline passes. Why? Well, it gives you more time to come up with the money to contribute to the current year. And even if you're convinced there's absolutely no way you could max your Roth IRA for the current year, your financial situation could always change. You could get a promotion, a raise, a new job, or even win a scratch-off ticket. Out of all of the mistakes that you could make with your Roth IRA, this one is potentially the most damaging to your long-term growth. And while this might seem like a silly mistake to the seasoned investor, Roth IRAs are often people's very first investment account, and I've unfortunately seen a lot of beginner investors misunderstand how Roth IRA contributions actually work. By default, money transferring from your bank account to your Roth IRA comes through as cash. It's not invested or exposed to the stock market in any way. After contributing to your Roth IRA, if you want to give your money the opportunity to grow, meaning exposing it to the stock market and investing it, you have to take that extra step by purchasing shares of individual stocks, index funds, ETFs, mutual funds, or bonds. I myself made this very mistake for the first few months after I opened my Roth IRA. Because I was just so excited to make my first contribution, I totally forgot about all of the steps that came after. And when I say this mistake could be the most damaging mistake to your long-term potential growth, I mean in the range of 7 figures or more. Because invested money compounds over time, the financial consequences of forgetting to or choosing not to invest your Roth IRA contributions also compound over time. Assuming an annual contribution of $7,000, which is the current annual max for a Roth IRA, contributed across a period of 40 years, you'd have just $280,000 if you chose not to or forgot to invest your contributions. Compare that to $1.4 million, which is what you would have if you invest in something like an index fund, assuming, of course, an average 7% historical return, which is a pretty good rule of thumb for long-range investing. That's a difference of over $1 million by the time you retire. While not investing your Roth IRA contributions could cause you to lose out on a 7-figure retirement portfolio, investing in the wrong things could be an even bigger mistake. If you forget or choose not to invest, at least you still have your original contributions, even if they've been devalued by inflation. But if you treat your Roth IRA, which is meant to be a long-term retirement vehicle, like it's a day trading account, you could risk losing everything you put into it. Study after study after study shows that individual stock picking is less likely to be successful than investing in index funds over a long period of time. For example, what if you invested in these 3 stocks in your Roth IRA instead of a broad market index fund? Over the past 3 years, these stocks have plummeted by 99.9%, making them basically worthless today, while the S&P 500 has grown about 30%. I recognize that I'm cherry picking 3 extreme examples here, but the point that I'm trying to make is that nobody can predict the future, and a portfolio more exposed to individual stocks is more likely to fluctuate up and down, and less likely to outperform the market long term. Of course, no type of investing is guaranteed, even when you invest in broad securities like index funds. While you ultimately must accept some level of risk as an investor, you can significantly increase or decrease that risk when choosing your investments. If you insist on stock picking in your Roth IRA, one strategy that some investors use is to keep their individual stocks under a certain percentage in their portfolio, say 10 or 20%, and then put the rest of their money in index funds. Many families have both a working spouse and a stay-at-home spouse. Because the Roth IRA contribution limits require you to have earned income before contributing, many couples misunderstand this to mean that only the working spouse can contribute to a Roth IRA. While this is technically true, there is a special type of account called a spousal Roth IRA that gets around this rule, and it allows the working spouse to contribute money to the non-working spouse's own Roth IRA, provided that the working spouse has enough earned income to contribute to both their own Roth IRA and the spouse's Roth IRA if they're choosing to do both. In other words, the 2024 contribution limit for a Roth IRA is $7,000. So as long as the working spouse earns at least $14,000 a year or more, they can max out both their own Roth IRA and their non-working spouse's Roth IRA. For couples in this situation, this essentially doubles your long-term investing potential. Forgoing a spousal Roth IRA could set you back over $1 million across a 40-year career, assuming an average rate of 7% returns. In a similar vein, you can also open up Roth IRAs for your children while they are still minors, even babies. But there's a really big caveat here where, unlike the spousal Roth IRAs, your children have to be the individuals directly earning the income that they want to contribute, and they can only contribute as much as they earn up into their Roth IRA up until the max of $7,000 a year. What does and does not count as earned income for your children is ultimately up to the IRS's discretion, but there are some good guidelines that you can follow. Broadly, any taxable income is qualifiable, meaning that your child could earn income from babysitting, mowing neighbors' lawns, or working a part-time job. Infants and very young children are probably not doing any of these things, but they could still earn income from modeling or acting gigs. Of course, this means that you'll need to help your child file a tax return and pay their taxes, which should be very minimal if they're working kind of the typical teenage job. Notably, the IRS does not consider chores or most income provided by parents to their children to be qualifiable income, unless those parents have a business and they employ their child in that business in a more kind of formal structure. So it might be difficult for your child to earn any income that would be qualifiable to allow them to invest in a Roth IRA at their young age, but if you can find a way to get them to have earned income as a minor, this is a fantastic way to get them to jumpstart their retirement savings because of the power of compounding interest over time from a very young age. Also, your child might not want to put every single penny they earn mowing lawns one summer into a Roth IRA. I know my 15-year-old self certainly would not have. But remember that money is fungible in the eyes of the IRS, meaning that you as a parent can contribute all of your child's earned income to their Roth IRA, up to $7,000, from your own earned income. You're essentially having your child contribute all of their own earned income to their Roth IRA, and then you're gifting them the equivalent amount to do whatever they want with. Same result with a few extra steps. If you're able to have your child contribute $1,000 a year from ages 1 to 18, they'd reach adulthood with about $34,000 in their Roth IRA, assuming historical 7% average return rate. If they never made another contribution to their Roth IRA in their entire lives, they would retire at age 65 with over $800,000 in their Roth IRA. To put that in perspective, investing $1,000 from ages 1 to 18 and then stopping forever will result in almost the same retirement balance as somebody who invests nothing in childhood but contributes $2,500 a year to their Roth IRA from ages 18 to 65. Roth IRAs are incredibly valuable investment accounts, so there has to be some gotcha to make sure that they're not abused. That gotcha is that you're not allowed to make withdrawals from your Roth IRA until you reach age 59 and a half, or you'll face a 10% penalty and income taxes, which can push you up to 40 or 50% depending on your income tax bracket. Luckily, there is an exception with this very strict rule, and that's with your contributions. Because you already paid income taxes on your original Roth IRA contributions, or in other words, you didn't get any special tax breaks for contributing to your Roth IRA, your original contributions are not subject to the same 10% penalty and income taxes for early withdrawals. That means that you can withdraw some or all of your original contributions from your Roth IRA at any time, at any age, completely tax and penalty free. But if you decide to take out everything, or enough from your Roth IRA that you're also withdrawing from your earnings, you will take a pretty significant hit. And even if you only withdraw your contributions and avoid any tax or penalty, you're still leaving a lot of money on the table by withdrawing from your Roth IRA early, because now you have less money invested in your retirement account to grow over time. Trying to time the stock market is one of the most common investing mistakes for both beginner and seasoned investors. It's basic human psychology to want the best possible deal, to wait for the perfectly optimal time to jump in, but statistically, you're much more likely to be worse off. Charles Schwab released a study demonstrating that, on average, for any 20-year period, immediately investing returns only trail about 8% behind perfect timing returns. Or in other words, simply dumping your cash into the stock market as soon as you receive it results in 92% of the long-term investment growth as perfect timing. And you might ask yourself, well, aren't I leaving money on the table? Shouldn't I shoot for 100%, not 92%? Well, humans aren't fortune tellers. You're just as likely to choose the wrong timing as you are the right timing, if not more likely, because market timing indicators are usually only obvious with the power of hindsight. Contributing to your Roth IRA as soon as you have the cash available to do so also has the added benefit of diversifying your market entry points, meaning that you're spreading out the risk that you're investing everything at the peak. Having the wrong brokerage administer your Roth IRA can also be a pretty costly mistake. Some brokerages charge very high trading or commission fees that can eat into your investment's long-term growth potential. Luckily, most, if not all, of the big-name brokerages out there today offer commission-free trading, so this point is maybe not as important as it was 10 years ago. And some of those big names are Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, and TD Ameritrade. Some beginner investors may also be tempted to have a financial advisor manage their Roth IRA, but financial advisors are not guaranteed to, or even more likely, to give you higher returns than a broad market index fund. Financial advisors also charge up to 1% of your entire portfolio as their fee every single year, meaning that if you have $100,000 invested, they're going to charge you $1,000 every single year, and possibly more as your portfolio hopefully grows. This can be a pretty significant drag on your investment returns over a long period of time. Finally, the most expensive mistake you can make with your Roth IRA is just not starting. I can't tell you how many people I've spoken with over the years who have really wanted to start investing, but they just have never taken the plunge because they don't know where to start. Because of the power of compounding growth, unfortunately, every year you sit on the sidelines disproportionately reduces your investment balance by retirement. And if this is you, don't feel bad. As the saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the second best time is today. Just the fact that you clicked on this video and watched it all the way through means that you're making the right steps to secure your financial future. Luckily, I have a beginner's guide on everything you need to know to open, contribute to, and invest in your very first Roth IRA at Charles Schwab, which you can watch right here. Well, that's everything. Have you made any of these mistakes? Let me know in the comments. And if you learned something from this video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you want to see more content just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.